What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Living Blessed, the podcast. I'm your host, Joevan J. Palmer. As always, we got special people on the podcast sharing dope and vulnerable moments. I got no other than the Miss Janelle Davis on.
That's good.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm great. Glad to have you back.
Right. This is part 2 because he deleted part 1.
I still got the actual episode. I just don't have the audio.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like I can't use the camera audio because it won't make your voice sound as elegant as it does.
You know what? We have to have the what is it called? The silent storm? The
quiet storm?
Quiet. We have to have the quiet storm voice going on in the microphone. Okay, so proceed.
All right. Yeah, so what's going on? How you feeling?
I am feeling good. I'm in a very good place.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Why are you in this good space?
Wow. So many things are happening, and it's just like a shift is happening, and I see God moving, and the movement is happening because of being obedient. And so now I'm seeing what happens when you're obedient to what he's telling you to do and how he's telling you to do it, and not being fearful of doing those things and just pushing forward and things come into place.
Yeah. So has obedience always been a thing for you?
It has not always been a thing for me. Sometimes I didn't do it because I didn't want to do it, or sometimes I didn't do it because I was afraid to do it. Me not wanting to is just me wanting to do what my flesh tells me to do.
Okay. Yeah. So you are, in my eyes, a superhero.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like you've been a great inspiration.
Oh, thank you, Joevan.
You're welcome. And I say that because 1, you're Janelle. Well, actually, no, 1, you're a mom.
Yes.
2, you're Janelle.
Yes.
And then 3, you're a business owner.
Yes.
4, you're a full-time employee.
Yes.
And you're killing it in all spaces.
Okay.
I'll receive outside looking at it, I feel that you are, because it's like I hear a lot of stories of single moms and how I hear like a lot of complaining from some single moms. Like, oh, it's a single mom, just this and that, woe is me. But I've never heard a complaint come out of your mouth about being a single mom at all.
Yeah. You know what? You're absolutely right. I think I did in the past because I was not upset, but found it to be unfair that I had to do it all on my own, especially financially. I think that was the hardest part financially. I used to say, God, just bring somebody to pay half the bills. And because at the time her dad was around, so it's not like I did want a better male figure in her life. I did, because he was not the best. But at least she had dad. Yeah. And when he left in 2017, then things kind of just shattered. In 2017, I left my abusive relationship in the beginning of the year, literally in January. And then in December, her dad left permanently. And so that was crushing for her. So we were both just in a really bad place. But as far as like complaining, this journey with her has just been a real blessing. I would not be where I am today if I didn't have her and if I wasn't a single mom. It would be totally different. I wouldn't be so ambitious and go after the things that I want for myself and for her.
So you feel as if you birthed her on purpose,
right?
Even though, was she a planned kid or was it like a?
Oh, she was definitely unplanned. Surprise! I was like, crap. I was a sophomore in college. Living my life with a 1.85 GPA. I was happy.
Wait, hold up. You had a 1.8?
I had a 1.85.
I always thought you were like super smart.
I was in high school, and in college it changed. You got freedom in college.
Oh, for sure.
And I had my own car. I had my own place. We was wilding out and having fun. And I was on probation, academic probation.
I've been there before.
And when I got pregnant, things got real. And I was like, crap. And so, She's just been a blessing. Everything changed. I went from 1.85 to 3.85 to 4.0, and I graduated with a cumulative 3.85 GPA for my bachelor's degree. Now, my master's dropped a little bit, but that's because it was real hard. I got an MBA in finance, and it kicked my butt. But I still think I got 3.0, I believe. Yeah.
Single mom.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
What were some of the woes of a single mom? Like, you know, what are some of your hardships? Though I did say I never heard you complain, but as a younger single mom, because you had her at what age?
19.
So at 19 years old versus your current age now, and you look back, what were some of the issues and the hardships that you faced as a single mom?
The initial issues was that she was just so sick because she was, wow, I just thought about it. My GPA was 1.85 my freshman year. I had her and she was 1.85 pounds. Just noticed that.
Study your child's weight.
I don't know. Okay, but I guess God was preparing me. 1.85. That's what you want. That's what you're gonna get. So, yeah, the initial challenges was that she was so sick. She almost died 3 times. They had to bring her back to life. Her organs were failing. They told me she wasn't gonna make it. They told me she was deaf for the first 3 months of her life. They told me that she was going to lose her eyesight. They told me so many different things. But the thing about when she was in the hospital for 5 months, I knew she was going to make it. People thought I was crazy because I was traveling back and forth to school, to the hospital, and that was about a 3 to 4 hour drive, you know, but I would go to school during the week and come see her on the weekends. And I had my mom going up there during the week to check on her. And people judged me for it, but I knew what I knew and they didn't, and that's okay. And so she came home 5 months later, 10 medications, oxygen, and the heart monitor. She didn't cry for a whole year. You couldn't hear her. She had no voice for a year. I still don't understand why. Well, actually I do. She has chronic lung disease. So she has so much fluid in her body, it just didn't allow her lungs to do what it was supposed to do. And for whatever reason, you couldn't hear her cry. Her mouth may open, but that was about it. So that was the initial challenge because I was in school. When she came home, I was taking 8 classes at Bowie State University. And then I was also working for United States Department of Agriculture. And I think at that time I was making $17,000 a year. So
up north.
Yeah, in Maryland, yes. And so the challenge with that is that she had to go to daycare, obviously, because I was working and going to school. And daycare, I believe it was something like $1,000 a month. Well, if you're making $17,000 a year, you don't have $1,000.
It's $12,000 gone.
Exactly. And so what ended up happening is I went to go get a voucher for her, for daycare vouchers. But they told me that I can only get it if the father is on child support. And that was rough because him and I had agreed that I would never put him on child support. Either way, he didn't pay. He didn't pay with the child support. He didn't pay without the child support. But either way, I told him, I said, well, look, you're not working. I said, so it's either 2 options. You go get a job and help me pay, or how do you feel about being put on child support? And he was like, do what you got to do and put me on child support. I no lie. I have this documentation in my emails. I saved it because I knew there was going to be issues down the road. So I put him on child support, and they said that he had to pay $200 a month. So $200 a month from when she was a few months old to 2017, he was $21,000 in arrears. And so he never paid, but needless to say, it helped me put her in daycare, and I could afford daycare. The finances was the absolute biggest challenge. And I ended up buying my first house at 23, so she was 5. And at that time, I was making $30,000 with a mortgage of $1,200. So obviously that's tight. My car note's $300, daycare is $350. Not daycare, aftercare is $350 a month, along with all the other small bills. So needless to say, I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. My credit got really bad. But I was never late on my mortgage. There were moments where I didn't have money to pay my mortgage. And I said, God, what am I going to do? And I promise you, this happened on 3 occasions. Went to the mailbox and there was a check to cover my mortgage every time.
How much was your mortgage at the time?
$1,200.
So you're getting checked for $1,200.
It was $1,300. It was $1,800, and there was another $1,100 or $1,200.
Where are these checks coming from?
I don't remember. Oh, so one came from, and this is odd. One came from when you buy your house, and you go through that whole process. Sometimes you overpay or whatever, and they'll send you a check back. And so one of them was that. Another one, I can't even remember. I think maybe the IRS, and I don't remember what the third one, because at that time I didn't care where it was coming from. I was just like, thank you. And the mortgage got paid. And so I stayed in that house from 2011 to 2018, and the mortgage was never late. And it was just me and her rocking. So the finances was the biggest struggle. And then, of course, when you have kids, you want to get them active. You want them to be in the different things. You want to expose them. But when you're struggling financially, it's very hard to do that. And the last thing I'll say about it is, taking her to and from school, which I am still doing. She's about to turn 16 and I'm still driving her to school.
Super mom.
I'm like, why? I've never been in a situation where she could just walk to school for one reason or the other. At one point, this was when she was in middle school, we were waking up at 5 o'clock to get her to the bus stop at 5:30. And then I would have to rush home from work in traffic and then go pick her up from the bus station at like 4 or 5, no, about 4-ish. That's been really hard for me because it disrupts my day, going back and forth when I'm trying to do other things. And that's one of the times I was like, man, if only I had a partner that could at least do one or the other. Yeah. So those have been like the biggest challenges. But as far as raising her, I have a pretty good kid. I don't know, God, he knew what I needed. And she's just sweet. You know, I have some issues with her, but it's not like what you see with typical teens. She don't talk back. She's not smoking. She's not drinking. She's not skipping school. She's not out there having sex. She's not doing any of those things. It's just like a couple lies here and there.
It's typical.
Like, no, I did wash the dishes. You're like, there's a dishwasher full of dirty dishes.
Oh, I didn't hit start.
You're right. No, because we really don't use the dishwasher. We hand wash. I don't really like the dishwasher. So now I'm like, come on, girl. So it's stuff like that.
Got you.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself? Have you always seen yourself as a parent?
I always wanted 5 kids.
5.
I wanted 5, yes. Because I grew up in a very small family. We were not tight. We are still not tight. And I was just like, I'm going to grow up and create my own close-knit family. I'm having 5 kids, and we're going to have big holidays. And then I had my one. I said, I don't know about that 5. But where I am now, I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up probably adopting or possibly being with somebody who will have kids. I don't know. Somehow it's going to happen. I just don't know how. I do want a son. I'm off and on with it. I do want a son. But when I start looking at her, I'm like, well, she about to be close to 18. Would I look like having a new one? I go back and forth. Yeah.
Okay. So you said you and your family aren't tight.
Yeah.
What's the reason behind your family not being so close?
That's a good question. I'm really not. We're just really dysfunctional.
So you said you and your family aren't close.
Yeah, we're not close. My grandmother's kind of like the glue to the family, and so we would come around for holidays for her at her house in Queens. But now she has dementia. She's not the same person, obviously, and you know, there's been other stuff that happened in the family. For instance, like when I left my abusive relationship, I needed a place to stay, and my uncle turned me down. The only other option was my mom, but that wasn't an option because my brother lives there, and he is mentally ill. I grew up with his verbal abuse. And it wasn't super terrible, but it was obviously bad enough. So, especially as I got older and I started really recognizing what was happening. So, yeah. So, that just, we're not close. We're very small, and there's not a lot of us, and we just failed to create that strong bond.
So you say you were in a abusive relationship. Mm-hmm. Was it abusive as into like physical, mental?
It was emotionally, verbally, mentally, and financially. Verbally, definitely verbally. But so the top two were verbally and financially. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know financial abuse existed prior to him. I was like, I had to identify it after I left.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that's what that is. Crap, he got me. That's kind of like, he got me. Dang. How'd I fall in that trap? So yeah.
So what was it like being in a abusive relationship?
Wow, it was grueling. It was dark. It was scary. It was definitely scary because he can fly off the handles anytime. He was, at the time, was a lieutenant. He was a sergeant and then got promoted to lieutenant. He had a lot of guns in the house. He was a fairly muscular guy, taller than me. So, you never knew what he was going to do. Yeah.
So, did you find yourself fearful of your life?
I didn't become really fearful for my life until the second round, when we broke up and got back together. And here's the thing about people who are victims in domestic violence. Statistics show that people return to domestic violence, those relationships 7 times before they completely leave that person. And
they return 7 times.
7 times. Now, I only returned once. Thank God. I learned my lesson after the second time. And, I punched myself for even going back that time, but it's a process that you have to go through. So it's really tough.
So going through that process of leaving and then coming back, what was the reason for going back for you?
So I always felt like, I was like, he can change. He can change. Now, at that point, I started learning about narcissists. And now that term is used quite loosely. But when I tell you he was a true narcissist, he was very high level. A lot of people used to tell me, you should create a movie because how crazy your life was with him. And so I thought that he could change. And I said, people can change. But when you do research on narcissists, it all says the same thing. They don't change. Like, this is them for life. I still believe someone can change, but it would take a lot for someone like that to change. So I thought he can change. And number 2, because I had before I left, I had purchased another phone because the phone I had, he had purchased underneath his name so that he can watch me and track me. And so I bought another phone, and I was planning to leave because it was his family that started to make me see that I needed to leave. And so when I left the phone and I left all the bags that he bought me. And, I did my regular routine, which is 4 a.m. I would get up, make his breakfast, put it in the lunch bag where I made his lunch the night prior, and then make his coffee, send him off, get the girls, drive them 30 minutes to school, drive another 30 minutes to work for 8 hours, go get them, come back. And then by the time I get home, he's coming home from the gym because he goes to work roughly like 4 something in the morning. Well, he has to be there 4:30, 5 o'clock. And so he would go to the gym, he would come back, I would sit the girls down to start their homework, make their dinner, and then we would all sit down. And then after dinner, I would wash the dishes, I would do laundry. We lived in a 4,500 square foot house, 5 bed, 5 bath, so I was always cleaning at least one room. And by the time I finished all that, sometimes I would do his homework because he was in school for his bachelor's degree. And then he would say, babe, you ready to go to bed? Because he never...
Some old man stuff.
That's how he talked. And I never understood why he wanted me to go to bed with him. But I realized he was too worried for me to stay up because he didn't know what I would be doing on my phone. So I had no social media. I had no contact with friends. He shut all of that down. I wasn't even going to the gym anymore because he was so worried of me coming in contact with another man or whatever. He was very insecure. And so I forgot, what was the question? Because I lost track. Do you remember the question? Being scared, right?
Yeah, reason for going back and like, were you fearful of your life?
Yeah, so I was fearful of him finding out that I was planning to leave. So that morning when I made his breakfast, I knew I was leaving. And I had gave him his bag and I walked off and he was like, yo, what's wrong with you? And so my heart was pounding because I was like, he knows. And he was like, you ain't going to kiss me? And so that's the thing when you're leaving somebody, you can't let your routine change.
It has to be the same.
It has to be exact same. So he noticed I didn't kiss him. And I said, oh, okay. And, kiss him on the cheek and see you. And as soon as he went to work, I rushed the girls off to, it was summertime, so I rushed them to daycare. Took about 3 hours to pack my daughter's clothes, her mattress, which was my mattress in my house, packed as much as I could and left the old phone and took my new phone with me and just rolled out. Terrified because I was so worried because he gets off so early that he might get off early. He might come home and catch me. I was like, I'm dead if he catches me. And that was like such a scary experience. The second scary experience was when we got back together. This is the day we broke up. He was flying off the handles because he knew that I was done with him. And it had only been a couple months and he felt like I owed him financially. And he said, I know you're trying to leave. I know you're talking to somebody. You got some battery in your back. And he was like, but all I'm saying is, this is how he talked. All I'm saying is you need to give me my money. I was like,
what money?
What money? He was like, you left me with the bags when you left. And the reason why you left me with the bags in my hand when you left, what he means is I left him with all the financial responsibility when I left him the first time.
But you weren't working, were you?
I was working.
Oh.
I was making more money than him. I was almost at 6 figures at that time. And let me explain really quick. He bought a $500,000 house with the anticipation that I was going to be paying it or paying a majority of it, which he did set up. And I eventually was paying him $1,800 a month. His mortgage was like $26,000. So he was paying less than $1,000. I was paying most of the mortgage. He ended up buying a 2016 brand new Escalade for $90,000. He ended up buying a Hellcat. He ended up buying an Equus, and he had his old car. I had my Ultima, but he put all that stuff on my credit. Well, I co-signed because he said he couldn't do it without me. It's a long story, but anyway, I had $170,000 worth of car debt on my credit, and so when I left, he was responsible for paying all that stuff, rightfully so. It was his house in his name, his cars that he wanted that I didn't drive, but he felt like, this is the messed up mindset that they have. He felt like I owed him. I was like, I don't owe you nothing. I said, let me tell you something. Because I convinced him to sell the Escalade. So I had gotten $90,000 off my credit. And then I said, for the Hellcat, I'll give you, I think I told him 5. I said, I'll give you 5 so that you can sell the Hellcat, because I was only concerned about getting it off my credit. And so he knew I was refinancing my house. I had lied to him and told him that the refinance didn't go through, but he had hacked into my email. So he knew, he found out, and he kept asking me about it. And he went off and he threatened to kill me and the girls. And I had to talk him down. He's a talker. He used to lecture me for about 1 to 3 hours a day, no lie. And so I knew to get him to calm down, I had to talk to him, because normally I'm silent. And that night, he wanted to play nice after the argument. He was like, is the chicken in the freezer? I said, now why does it matter if the chicken's in the freezer? You don't cook nothing. It's always on me.
Cook you dinner.
He's like, you always say, I need to help out more, so I'm gonna help out more. I was like, nah, we good. And so I'm sitting there ironing, He was like, so you going to work tomorrow? Now, mind you, he's worried because last time how I left him, I was supposed to be going to I was supposed to be going to work.
So he trying to figure out your plan.
Yeah. He was like, you going to work tomorrow? I was like, yeah, I'm going to work. Why wouldn't I? He's like, I don't believe you. And in my head, like, you right. You better not believe me because I ain't going to work. But the idiot, he took my word for it. Now, I was terrified because he kept was it a shotgun? He kept a shotgun next to the bed on his side. And then he had another gun in the drawer next to him. And then he had a third gun. I don't know where the third gun is. And so I just knew. I was like, this man going to wake up in the middle of the night and he is going to shoot me. So I did not go to sleep. You know when they say sleep with one eye open? I literally slept. And at any movement he did, I was like, he was terrified. So next day came, he went off to work. And I went to the courthouse and I called his mom because his mom always asked me, like, if anything goes down, give her opportunity to save him. And so I did. And it was a lot of back and forth. I ended up texting him. I was like, yo, you got 24 hours. Because at this time, we were in my house. I didn't say that part. In my 1,400 square foot house.
What happened to the previous house?
So when we got back together, he was like, you coming back home? I said, I ain't coming back nowhere. I was like, I'm in my house now. I'm back in my house. And he was like, oh. So then he had the plan of us moving into a 1-bedroom apartment to stack our money because he wanted a $1.2 million house. But here's what's really the deal. He was running out of money handling that house and those cars by himself, which is why he wanted me to come back home. And by me saying I'm not coming back, I told him, I said, you stay in your crib, I stay in mine. He couldn't do that. So then he moved. He was like, you know what, babe? We're going to get this 1.2. I'm going to go ahead and put this up for rent. And we're going to all move into your house. But I think I should stay rent free because you left me with the bags. Long story. Anywho, so that's how he ended up back in my house. And so, which is why he felt out of control because he couldn't control. He can only really control in his household. So with that being said, went to the courthouse. I told him he had 24 hours to get out and I would give him $2,000 because I knew if I didn't give him at least some money, he was going to come back for me. So, and that was it. I mean, he moved around the corner.
From you?
Yeah, he stalked me for a little bit. I think for a few years, actually. And I think he still watches. I definitely
to this day.
Yeah, because last year he FaceTimed me. After like 3-4 years, he FaceTimed me.
How was that interaction?
Oh, I ain't stupid. I ain't answer that.
Oh,
I texted him back. I was like, "What you want?" And he was like, I don't know who this is. That was an accident."
He knew exactly who it was.
Of course he did. He wanted me to know something. Whatever that something was didn't matter to me.
You got a feeling of what it may have been?
What he does to his exes is that, excuse me, anytime, sorry, something's in the back of my throat. But anytime,
you going to grab some water?
Anytime he levels up, he wants to show it off to show his exes that he leveled up. But what I know about him is that his level up is because he's abusing someone else's money to get to his goals. So I know that he's with another woman and she has like some doctorate degree. But what I also know is that he's giving her hell and stealing her money. So
he FaceTimes you and you're trying to figure out why he's FaceTiming you.
Yeah, but it was easy to kind of really figure out. Like I said, I know him well. I know him, and at the end of the day, it didn't matter because there's nothing to be jealous about. Right. There's nothing to be jealous about because I know what he's doing to the next person. And sometimes I used to say, like, I don't understand why his family is allowing it because they know what he's doing. But I guess you can't control a grown man. But I think woman to woman, if I was his family member, I would be warning these women because he's destroying people. He is destroying people.
So what do you feel like as a mom now by yourself? some of the challenges that you face now?
Right now it's just about her future and just making sure I'm still setting her up for success. So as a parent, when especially when you have some kids that are like straight A's and they're gonna go to Howard, not Harvard, Howard University, and they know what they want to do. Mm-hmm. You don't have any concerns. But for my daughter, she has her business, but she has other dreams. And so it's about how do I put her in a position so that she reaches her dreams, so that she gets to those places. And that can be a little bit tough, especially when I'm still going after my dreams. And so I think the challenge of having a child young is that the two of you, or you and your children, are growing up together. And I think there's no judgment. You have some parents that put their child's dreams and aspirations before their own. I believe you can do both. Yes, it requires a lot. Yes, I'm exhausted often. Yes, I fall asleep in my car when it's parked sometimes, but I would be damned if I let go of what I want just because I'm a mom and just because I'm supposed to help her. I can do both. And so that might be one of the bigger challenges right now, is pushing us both to greatness. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Do you feel as if, as a child, sometimes she may not get it?
Sometimes she doesn't. Mm-hmm. We had a big opportunity with the Georgia World Congress Center, and they wanted her to be a vendor, not just for them, but for all their retailers. Mm-hmm. That was going to give her an adult salary. And she didn't get it. She didn't grasp it. She wasn't excited about it. She was initially, but when we had the meeting and they were ready to, turn on the green light, she had no excitement. And so I had to make the decision to say she's not ready. And so I just didn't move forward. Now, I never told them that. I just stopped reaching out and responding. So
what's the business?
You said, her business is Cookie Crumble Bakery. So she does an online bakery business, and it's done well since it started December 24th, 2020. Yeah.
And of all things that she could be doing, why cookies?
She has been baking since a little girl. The Easy Bake Oven drove us crazy. Mommy, an Easy Bake Oven. And I felt like a terrible parent because I was like, I'm not doing that. But her dad, she used to bring it to her dad's house, and they would do it, and she would do it with her cousins, and then my mom would do it with her. I was such a bad mom at the time. I was like, I ain't doing that. I was like, them little cookies, what we doing with that? But as she got older, I have a picture of her when she was like 6 years old, and we would always do Christmas cookies from scratch and design them. And so I have a picture of her holding all her cookies on a tray. And when we were with my crazy ex, she was like, I'm going to have a bakery business. And so we was like, what we going to call it? And she's like, Z's Bake Cakes. That was the original name, Z's Bake Cakes. And I created logos, and we never did anything with it. And it wasn't until 2020, just her hearing other entrepreneurs and whatnot and Earn Your Leisure. She was like, I'm ready. I was like, okay. I said, you sure? I said, because once you start, we are not quitting. She's like, I got it, Mommy.
Why'd you say we?
Because I'm her mom. She's going to need support. As a child, you don't even have access to all the resources because you're underage.
Yeah.
And I think it's necessary. You have a lot of kids out here that want to do things but don't have the support. Mm-hmm. That's no different from, and you know what? I think subconsciously I got it from my mom, because when I had her, and when family and friends thought that I wasn't going to be able to finish school and make it and do well, I would make the decision to finish school and finish it on time. And if it wasn't for my mom said, okay. So my mom helped. She was my help. Sometimes the picking up and watching her when I need to study, that was the biggest thing. Watching her when I needed to study, when I needed to go to school and things of that nature. she was right there. I would not be where I am if my mom didn't help me. There's no way, especially with her being so sick. So I guess moving forward, now I find myself in the same position, just not with school, but with a business, which is better than me. And it's just like, yeah, I'm with you. I'm down. So yeah, I've spent thousands of dollars in Cookie Crumble. And I'm like, you can't back out. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't back out. I didn't quit. And so I'm not going to let her quit. And in the past, she has quit other things, activities, and she regrets it. And she was like, I wish I didn't quit. I said, I got you. I said, so the next time you say you want to quit, I'm not going to let you. And so I said, you'll thank me later. So yeah.
Where'd the name Cookie Crumble come from?
She came up with it.
Really?
Her favorite drink at Starbucks is the Mocha Cookie Crumble Frap. And so I was like, Z, what are we going to name it? I was like, do we want to go back to Z's Bake Cake? She's like, no, I don't really like it. Mm-hmm. I don't really like it. And we always was going to Starbucks and getting that Cookie Crumble frap. And so she was like, she came to me, she was like, Cookie Crumble Bakery. I was like, yo, I kind of like it. I was like, I like that. I was like, where'd you get the name? She's like, Starbucks. I was like, okay, well, let's trademark the Cookie Crumble. So
she's a 15-year with a trademark.
Yeah, it's trademarked.
Wow.
Yeah, we did it through Deanna Brett, who passed away. Yes. But it did get approved around the time she passed. Yep. I need to do a follow-up though. I need to do a follow-up. My friend's an attorney, so we're going to do that. But yes, we trademarked Cookie Crumble. So if we wanted to, we could probably hit up Starbucks and be like,
what's up?
Y'all using y'all using our trademark.
But it's Cookie Crumbles with a K, right?
Yeah, is there with a K? But I think Deanna trademarked it because we talked about it. I think she trademarked it for it to be with a K and a C.
Really?
Yeah, because you can do that. Yeah. So if we wanted to,
nice little come up.
Either y'all change it or you pay up. Which one you want to do? So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure she was set up correctly.
So what advice would you give to a mom who's trying to say, I can't make it, but for you can say you can make it because you've had her at 19. Mm-hmm. She was hospitalized for some time, came home with 10 different medications. Mm-hmm. You still busting out a 4.0 GPA, mm-hmm. going through an abusive relationship, mm-hmm. and you're still coming out on top.
Oh God, that's weird to say on top, but what would I say? It's about your determination. I read a quote today where it says something along the lines like, don't say that you can't have it because of money. Money is irrelevant because the money will show up, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing applies to a lot of other things. Whatever it is that you want and you desire, you go after it and things will fall into place. You will attract the resources and the people to make it happen, to make it come together. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that it's all going to fall into place as soon as you make the decision, but it does fall into place. It's all about what you want and how bad you want it. It's the determination. And so for me to take 8 classes in one semester with a sickly newborn is crazy. That's crazy to think that. Sure. And that was my first 4.0. The semester before, which I didn't say, I had her the week of midterms.
You had her during the midterms?
Yeah, the week of midterms. I was in the midst of midterms and I gave birth to her. And when they released me from Johns Hopkins Hospital, I drove back to school, told my teachers that I had a baby and that I needed to take my midterm. Now, they didn't believe me. I had to show them my documentation because I was so small. And I finished that semester with her in the hospital at 3.85. And then the next semester with the 8 classes, that's when I got the 4.0. But the point to it is I was so determined. There was nothing that was going to stop me. Yeah. And I will say that I am still working to get back to her because that 19-year-old was fearless, truly fearless, and knew something was going to happen, and it happened. It was crazy. The house, me buying a house at 23 with a 5-year-old, with $30,000, somebody easily would have said, you can't do that. But I was so determined, somehow the money came together.
Yeah.
For it to happen. The price of the house had dropped so low where it made it affordable for me to buy. I had a 3-bedroom, 4-bath house, townhouse. It's a nice size with a basement. Unheard of.
For sure.
So determination. It's about what you want and how bad you want it. And if you don't want it that bad, then you ain't gonna chase after it and you ain't gonna have it. It's just really that simple.
Well. So you're trying to get back to her, the 19-year-old Janelle.
That piece, not all of her, because like I said, I'm in a good place. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually seeing that happen. So not that I want to be the 19-year-old Janelle, but the belief level that I had.
Okay.
And so now I'm starting to see that happening now. It's getting stronger and stronger. And the more things keep happening, the stronger the belief.
For sure.
It's just like something that I'm working on right now, and how it's all coming together. Because I kept saying, how is that going to work? I don't have the resource. I don't have the money. And it's just like coming all together. People. God moves, when you're obedient and you share with him your the desires of your heart. And as long as that it's good for you and it's good for people and Absolutely. It still serves the purpose that he placed on your life, then he'll move mountains and it'll happen.
So how can I help you get back to 19, Janelle? The portion that you miss. We're trying something new, guys.
How can you? Well, okay. So I think it's more so in the short-term rental space. So I know we didn't talk about that. What most people call Airbnb. Mm-hmm. I've been pretty successful in that space, even though I am a year in. I have more knowledge than most hosts do. And what I'm trying to do now is to go international, and that scares the living life out of me. Because I'm like, can it be done?
Why don't you think it can't be done?
Resources again.
But you did say a few minutes ago,
what
you want, you will attract.
I did. So that's why this is just about just taking the steps forward and just doing it. So how you can help me is holding me accountable to, I did set a date to travel to Mexico. Mm-hmm. Things happen.
For sure.
But you're gonna hold me accountable to the new date.
The new date, which is? Of a calendar right
It's
there.
going to be the end of March.
End of March.
And the reason being is because my daughter's birthday is in the middle of March. I've been asked to be a guest speaker for like 2 or 3 different things.
Are you lit?
Things are happening. I told you guys, like, I got you.
For sure. And all of that, you may find the resource you need for the Airbnb.
Yeah.
International.
The international, yeah. And I've already come across people who are already doing it. And right now I'm debating between rental arbitrage and owning. And rental arbitrage is just using other people's property to do short-term rentals or Airbnb. And a lot of people are telling me to go the rental arbitrage path. But I don't know. I have a feeling in me, like, I was like, but I think I want to own. And so
I think you do.
Yeah.
Because ownership has been very important to you.
Yeah, ownership is very important.
It's very important to you.
Yes.
And I feel as if you at 19 could own a house, you at what second age was second house was what? 20?
That was 2018 when I built my second house in 2018. Oh, okay, wait. Hold on. No. That was 2019. I left him at 2000. That's 2017. I don't know. I was probably like 32.
32.
This is a 32.
And right now you are
35.
Why can't you do it again?
I can. Because if I did it before, I can do it again. Even if it doesn't look promising.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I absolutely can. Thank you for that. So yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to set the trip. I'm going to go. I'm going to have a realtor there that's going to help me. And Mexico is going to be the first place. And then we'll keep expanding. To own property and then have my units. And so part of the reason why I'm switching is because, one, I want to do luxury. I'm good in that space. I know how to service people well.
You look like luxury.
Thank you. And where a lot of people are focusing on having multiple doors. Like, I have 100 doors. I don't want 100 doors. I don't want to manage 100 doors, nor do I even want to have to hire somebody to manage 100 doors and then they have to come to me about it. I don't want that. I said, well, what if I do luxury that's international, where I know people are going to travel to, they want to be there, and they're going to pay the money, the type of client that I want, they're going to pay the money,
sure.
No problem. And then I can make more money with one property that maybe 5 properties can make it with one, and maybe have 5, 6, 7, 8 properties across the world where I would like to travel to. So now when I want to travel to these different places, I have a place to stay.
Genius.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. That's the road. Don't y'all take my idea, okay?
So I want to move to Tanzania.
Okay. So, I love it.
You need a house out there?
Let's do it.
I'm dead serious.
No, I'm serious too.
A goal of mine is to live in Africa for 6 months. I want to travel the world.
Yeah.
Like, just be all over the place.
Really?
And my business is pretty much just doing what it needs to do on the side. But I don't feel like Atlanta's home.
Me too.
I feel like it's just like a pit stop for me.
Me too. I had just had that conversation. I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to put roots here.
But how'd you get here?
I got here because it was a determination. I literally walked towards fear. And you're like, oh, you're just moving to a new city, but you don't understand, it's just me. Got you. Yeah, it's just me and Z, and my mom has always been my support. Mm-hmm. My 6-figure job is back home.
Hey, boss.
I worked hard for that now. I mean, I don't work hard now, but I worked hard for that getting there. And, again, being a single mom, that is a scary thing. It's a very scary. And I had just built my brand new, beautiful house. It was my first dream home, and I made it come to life. And so to up and move, but it was actually a woman named Amanda Ellis, a friend of mine. And we did a thing where it was a group of us, and we were manifesting the things that we wanted. And she was like, Janelle, you're going to have the resources are going to come together, da-da-da-da. And to be honest with you, I was supposed to move to Atlanta when I was 19 and pregnant. That's when I first got the vision to move to Atlanta. But I was scared, and of course I was pregnant, and I was like, yeah, not happening. And remember I said obedience.
Yeah.
We're talking 15 years later, and I still had the same vision and passion to move to Atlanta, but I didn't know why. It's just something that he gave me. And finally, I said, you know what, we're going. Put the house up for sale, we're going. Let's go. And then when we moved, things started happening. That's when things started to come together more and more. Crazy.
You lit. You are lit. I'm so serious. Like, I'm inspired.
Oh, thank you.
Like, seriously inspired, because like, you give me as a man reasons as to why I can.
Yeah.
But I have none of what you have going on. Not a dad.
But you still have struggles.
Oh, for sure, I do. Yeah. But it's just like, if I look at your life and I say, yo, Janelle is a mom by herself.
Yeah.
She's her by herself. She's an employee by herself. She's a business owner by herself. She's a momager by herself. You give inspiration to a lot of people who give a lot of excuses as to why they can't.
I never thought of it that way. I think when I look at myself, it doesn't seem like much. But
it's a lot, though. From somebody looking on the outside in.
I guess so.
A lot.
Yeah.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit.
Maybe not. I think sometimes, what we do, which is the worst thing for us to do, is to compare.
For sure.
And so, when you see other people so much further ahead of you, it's like, oh God, I got so much work. So sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. Sometimes, and I think this is unhealthy. Sometimes if I'm just relaxing and taking time to myself, I feel like
you should be doing something.
I should be doing something.
The same way.
Yeah. And it's very unhealthy.
Absolutely.
And so, that's something that I'm working on. One, finding ways to work smarter, to move forward and I don't have to exhaust myself, to get to those goals. We just have to find, and leverage is one of the ways.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I'm inspired, y'all. I'm inspired. Y'all should be too. Janelle, thank you.
Thank you.
For a refreshing conversation.
Yeah.
For telling your business.
Right?
So I'm going to do a quick commercial real quick, and I want you to close us out with something as powerful as you can, even though your story is powerful by itself.
Okay.
Here we go. So this episode is sponsored by the Embolden Institute. It is the only place where I know that we're sending words of affirmation and words of encouragement every day. You can subscribe to my text line at 404-476-6780. That's 404-476-6780. You can text me the word affirmation or affirmations for the people who just got to add S to things, or text me the word heal to 404-476-6780. Are you subscribed? Nope. Okay. So we're going to get her subscribed. Can't be on my podcast and not be subscribed to myself.
I forgot.
Wow, some friend. But anywho, listen, I am on this journey, and I'm embarking on this journey of becoming a better man, becoming so much more than who I am. And along this journey, I want to take you with me, because I feel like together we can do so much more than we can do by ourselves. So text me and come on this journey with me, 404-476-6780. Ms. Davis.
Yes.
Close us out and let us know where we can find you. And wait.
What?
You have something.
What do I have? My ebook?
You have a book.
Oh, yes.
And she's an author, y'all.
Wait a minute. It's an ebook.
It's
right?
a book.
Slow down.
It's a Marcus,
okay.
It's a book, right?
A book is a book.
It got ISBN?
Wait.
Nope. Okay.
No, see?
It's still a book, though.
It's still a book. We're working on the ISBN. It's coming. Anywho, so Janelle Davis, New Home Secrets is my Instagram. New Home Secrets, no underscore, just straight New Home Secrets. I do have an ebook that is 10 steps to help you launch your first Airbnb without owning property and with little to no money. So even if you have bad credit, yes, you can do it. So that's what the ebook is about. It will help you tremendously. It'll help you launch your first unit. And you can get the book at getnewhomesecrets.com. That is getnewhomesecrets.com. And I would say, as far as a closeout, I think, at one point it was about the money, chasing the money, chasing the money, chasing the money. And recently, because of new relationships and just where God has taken me, it's not about the money, it's about love. And I know that's like, oh, boring, but it is so true, because if you chase after the things that are meaningful in life, things will come to you. You will attract those things. You attract those things. Now, that doesn't mean not work towards the things that you want in life. You're still working, but if you come from a place of love and caring, when you are servicing people or providing them a product, and you're providing them something that is of real value because you care, you're going to naturally attract the right people in the right audience for you. And so that's just something that I've been learning just along the way, to appreciate the people and love on people and give from the heart. So again, that might be a little corny, but I'm telling you, everything that's been happening to me within this last year has been because of that. The last thing, and I'll say that someone had told me, because I was worried about what someone might think, and what they said to me was, Janelle, why would you care what one individual thinks of you if what you've been doing, your character and your reputation and things that you've done for other people precedes you?
Absolutely.
Right? Like, look at all the people you've helped. And she named a bunch of different people. And I was like, what? And I didn't even realize I had done what I've done. And that's because my integrity is high. I don't look to take from people. I'm not malicious. That's the old me.
Oh my.
Now,
we didn't get all that.
Joevan knows there's a little bit of another side of me. But that's only if someone treats me bad purposely and tries to hurt me. But outside of that, Yeah. And I think you do good things for people and it comes back to you.
Absolutely.
That's it.
There we have it, folks. Another dope episode with another dope person. That is Living Mr. Podcast. We are out. Peace.